always hoping and dreaming of owning a Rolex. And it wasn't until I really progressed and started hitting successful marks, getting awards. I did like most people. I went to the AD thinking, they tell you the Rolex is the symbol that marks that achievement. So I said, hey, this is an achievement. Let me go mark it.
Yeah.
I went to the AD, and I think like most people, you get the great story. We'll put you on a list.
Ugh.
It gets to a point, right, where you say you want to purchase the watch because I'm not a flipper. I feel like I'm a collector.
Right.
You want to get the watch that symbolizes that achievement at that time.
Mm-hmm.
If I have to wait 5 years, the symbolism of that achievement is watered down because I've moved on to other things, right?
Welcome everyone to Wolf Watch Club. Again, my name is Gabriel, your community host, and I'm here with the myth and the legend, Spurgeon Monroe, who is our Rolex Sprite winner. That was our month-long draw. And Spurgeon, how many tickets did you buy for this?
I bought 16 total tickets.
Not bad.
Not
Okay.
bad.
So 16 tickets. You've compared that to some of the other players or some other people out there who have been playing some serious playing some serious odds, I guess, buying a lot of
Right.
tickets. In your case, it was 16. We just had a guy win the Tudor
Black
Blue
Man.
Lagoon.
One ticket.
One ticket. So kind of crazy. But yeah, so also, again, if you're new to the channel, we're putting out these videos now about a week or every 2 weeks or so. We're gonna be ramping up uploads. So please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, to keep up with all these interviews, our winner interviews. We've got some members that we're gonna be interviewing as well, and some other content that we're gonna be releasing in the coming weeks. Spurgeon, the floor is yours. Tell me a little bit about you, what you do, what are some of your interests? Like, who are you? And,
Yeah.
Just so myself and the community can get to know you better.
Definitely. I'll start with I'm just an average guy. Your average guy that, goes to work every day. I work in healthcare as a consultant. So I have the pleasure of getting to work from home, but I do travel a lot for work. Um, Husband, I have 3 beautiful daughters. Explains why I have the bald head.
I make the same joke to one of my friends who's got 2 daughters.
So, at the core root, I'm just an average guy. Love sports. I've played sports in high school, up into college where I got hurt, unfortunately. But now I love golf. I try to get out on the golf course at least 2 to 3 times a month. Sometimes what I do on the golf course can't be considered golf, but I whack at it as hard as I can, as often as I can, trying to work on the game.
Nice. Okay. And so, all right. So healthcare consultant, travel a lot for work. You do a lot of travel like here in the US. Are you going abroad at all?
Unfortunately, not abroad. The company that I work for, we're solely national, basically helping hospitals strategically perform better, become more efficient, helping with supplier negotiations. We were one of the key companies that helped during COVID with getting a lot of the PPE and making sure that gets regulated, trying to get it to where things are needed. We also do a lot of technology, working on models to hopefully predict where the next potential outbreak may happen so that we can align things better to help hospitals become more efficient.
Wow. Okay, that's cool. So actually, let me just say thank you for what you do because I mean, we all know how COVID went.
Yes.
So, just an absolutely crazy event. So it's nice to actually speak to someone who's kind of in the background Not necessarily, on the front lines dealing with it, but in the background helping with, like you said, getting the PPE, getting those processes in place, the logistics of everything to help
Yes,
combat something like that. Because
correct.
we all know how that went. So,
Oh yeah, it's tough
um,
because I tell people, in healthcare, there's so much opportunity there, right?
yeah,
Most people, when you mention healthcare, they think doctor, nurse, and that's the extent of their knowledge of the healthcare space. But there's so much opportunity in healthcare to help on the back end,
yeah.
on the business side, that it's really for everyone.
Nice. So, okay, and I know you said you work mainly from home,
Yes.
but what does a healthcare consultant usually like as their daily driver on their wrist? I'm just curious. Is there a particular watch that's like, okay, this is what a healthcare consultant would wear, or is it just something that, hey, Spurgeon Monroe wears?
It really just depends. And I'll be honest, like I'm a gym rat, right? So I'm in the gym 6 days a week. So mostly on the wrist, it's gonna be an Apple Watch.
Ah, okay. That's okay.
Because
We're very accepting here. Don't worry.
because you're tracking vitals. It also
Yeah.
helps with messaging. If I'm jumping on, I'm constantly in Teams and Zoom calls,
Hmm.
so it helps. So I'm not looking at the phone. I might just have my watch, my Apple Watch there, take a quick peek, see if I got a text from a member or one of our accounts, things like that. So having that Apple Watch is key. Now, when I'm on the road, it's different. When I'm on the road, it's I you may have heard me mention on the video for the tutor. When I'm on the road, typically meetings, I have a Rolex Datejust 126334. That's been prior to the Sprite. That was my go-to when I was on the road. So that was
Okay.
like my watch. But now it's Sprite.
I'm guessing, do you travel for work like where are you looking East Coast, West Coast,
I'm in the
Midwest?
Southeast.
Okay, so you're in the Southeast. So I don't know if you do a lot of travel out to like the, central Western time zones, but I mean, hey, that's gonna be useful.
It's going to be useful. For the most part, I'm typically East Coast,
Okay.
but there are occasions where I might have to go West Coast, and there it's perfect, right?
Right. Yeah. No, I hear you. So, okay. So date just Apple Watch.
Yeah.
We're gonna get. I'm gonna ask you more also, like what else you have in the current collection. But so, how did you get started with watch collecting? So, like for me, for example, it really started. I mean, I've had watches, growing up here and
Right.
there, and a couple citizens here and there and stuff like that. But for me, it didn't really take off until I got into the car business. Um, car business obviously high performing people. Especially I was in like I worked for a luxury brand, so sometimes you see a lot of crazy stuff. Was it healthcare for you, or was it even well before that got you into watches?
Before that, I would say, like most kids, you start off with your first watch. Usually, in the age that I grew up, it was either a Swatch or the Casio that had the little calculator function on it.
Yeah.
So that was the initial go-to. Then it progressed to, at the time, Nike made a watch, which was like the Nike, I believe
Mm,
it's called the Nike Triax. And it was like the kind of
okay.
sport watch that you had in high school that you wore to school every day. And then I had like the Seiko was like my, you only wore that to church watch.
Wow. Okay.
Or if you went to a nice dinner, it was the Seiko. And it really didn't really pick up until I graduated college. And then I started to really get into a career where I was making some money. And I said, hey, let me kind of step up my game a little bit. And it became a Movado Ilero chronograph,
Ooh. Okay.
which was like, to me, that was the watch. that
Okay.
was like, for me at that time in my life, that was my grail. Because to me, a Rolex was unfathomable, right?
Right.
being a kid fresh out of college, coming from humble means, if you would have told me, "Oh, go get a Rolex," I'd have been like, "Yeah, right. No way in the world can I afford a Rolex."
Right.
So the Alero was kind of like that. Okay, you've now arrived. You're now starting your professional career. This is what you need. This is what you want. And that became my daily driver. And then I kind of started to look as I got a little bit older, wanted something with a little bit of bling on it. So I dabbled a little bit in those kind of going out blingy type of watches, and I picked up a Lockman, which was an Italian independent,
Okay.
and kind of had it for a little bit, but barely wore it because the Movado was like, to me, that was where my heart was because
Okay.
that was like my grill piece at the time.
Yeah.
Always hoping and dreaming of owning a Rolex. And it wasn't until I really progressed and started hitting successful marks, getting awards at my job, getting award from the community for the community outreach that I was doing, that I said, okay, it's time. And that's when, you know, I did like most people. I went to the AD thinking, they tell you the Rolex is the symbol that marks that achievement. So I said, hey, this is an achievement. Let me go mark it.
Yeah.
I went to the AD, and I think like most people, you get the great story. We'll put you on a list.
Ugh. And this
So
was and this was what, maybe like how long ago was this?
this was about 3 years ago, actually.
Oh, okay. So I was wondering if it was pre the craziness of COVID, because I feel like pre-COVID you could walk into an AD and you could probably get what you
You
wanted.
probably could. You probably could. So this was after COVID. It was like middle of COVID, towards the end of COVID.
Mm,
And, at that point, the market just shot through the roof. And it was, how much are you spending to even be asked to be on a list? So went in there, and at the core, I still hope and dream of getting that call from the AD. I think that's kind of what everybody hopes, but it gets to a point, right, where you say you want to purchase the watch because I'm not a flipper. I feel like I'm a collector.
right.
You want to get the watch that symbolizes that achievement at that time.
Hmm.
If I have to wait 5 years, the symbolism of that achievement is watered down because I've moved on to other things, right? I've moved on to other achievements.
That's so you know what? That's so true, and I like that you brought that up, because actually I don't think I've ever heard anyone actually put it that way, but it's so true. It's like if you want to get a Rolex at retail price, you're going to be put on a list. But if specifically, if you're celebrating it for an achievement, like, let's say you finished graduate school, you made, $100,000 a commission or something, whatever the achievement is, you got to wait 3 to 5 years. And then it's like,
Yeah,
all right, you may have already climbed up the, whatever, the corporate ladder. You may have, done all this other crazy stuff, gotten other awards and stuff like that, that you want to, that, you moved on essentially from that first
exactly.
achievement now to these other achievements, and you're still waiting for the watch that hasn't what's the word, still not meant to be sold to you, because someone at the AD is, decides and says so, like, no, I have all these other people that I think deserve the watch before you, whatever. They may have, like, a million Rolexes already, or they may be,
Right.
whatever the case
Exactly.
is. But if it's someone's first Rolex or something like that, they're like, yeah, no, you gotta wait, just like everyone else. I don't care if you have the money right now. Oh, by the way, you need to buy some other stuff that I know you don't want, and I'm gonna
Right.
offer you this, whatever it is. Is it what's the particular watch that you put yourself down? Was it the Datejust, or was it a different watch?
It was the Datejust. I put myself down for the Datejust and for the Bruce Wayne.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, so Datejust, the Bruce Wayne never came. You're still waiting for it? Or did you
Still,
decide, you know what, I'm
I'm still waiting for the Bruce Wayne. You know, and I would also take us. hey, I would love a sub too, right?
Okay.
I love the sub. I would love the sub too, but and I have no expectation on a Daytona.
Oh,
Zero
geez.
expectation
Yeah.
for it
Yeah.
because that's like, let's be honest, you're gonna have to spend big bucks unless you just go
Yeah.
gray market.
Yeah, or you'd have to give up your firstborn and like,
Yeah,
sell your soul to the devil or something like that. Something crazy that's like not even close to being worth it. Yeah, Daytona's tough. Even just standard Daytona, right?
yeah.
It's like impossible to get unless you buy everything else that you don't want. I don't even know what the easiest watch nowadays is to get from an AD. Like, can you even get an OP? Like, what if I just want like just like a standard, I don't know, like a black OP, no fluted bezel or anything? Can I even get one of those if I walk into
You
an
probably will
AD?
not get anything with a fluted bezel. It'll
Right.
have to be standard bezel, flat bezel.
Okay.
You could probably get an OP, but it's going to be the dial variants that aren't the most popular. So it's not going to be the green.
Right.
It's not going to be the red. It probably won't be the beige. It'll have to be like a black.
Gotcha. Which, hey, I mean, I'll take a black OP anyway. I mean, it goes with
Yeah,
everything, basically.
yeah.
And actually, the OP is one of my favorites anyway, just because it for me, it's the purest. It literally is like the purest form of Rolex, like especially without the fluted bezel, nothing that's super flashy. I just love that and the Explorer.
Yes.
Explorer is another great, very simplistic watch. Um, Submariner, I wish I was more crazy about. If I had to go Submariner, I think I would do no date.
Hmm.
I personally just like the look of the no date,
Okay.
but I know, well, like, which one would
I
you
go
go
the other
for?
way. I would go date.
Okay, okay. The date is more functional, obviously.
Right.
But I personally like the no date. When I talked to Robert Vittori, I know his interview just went up a few days ago. He talked about how he hates the Cyclops on Rolexes, and I'm like, yeah, I get it. I kind of get it. It's not for everyone. I mean, it's such a signature thing of Rolex, but I love the Submariner design without the date. That's just me. But the date is more functional. So,
Yeah.
but still, Submariner even that's like the most widely I think that's basically still the most desired watch that Rolex sells,
Right.
basically,
Yeah.
is the Submariner, and it's still hard to get anyway.
Thank you. It honestly, I feel like you could probably throw a quarter and hit a sub, and it's still hard to get.
Oh my God. Yeah, seriously. Oh man. So with okay, so Apple Watch, date just. What else do you have? If you have any other watches, I assume you have other watches, but like what's like was that first you said like 3 years ago, that first date just, did that then kind of start the spiral into Rolex, or did you also be like, okay, you know what, let me actually look at maybe go back to basics with like Citizen, Bulova Seiko, Casio, or even some mid-range stuff like there's a lot of Swiss brands like Longines,
Yeah.
Rado, Mito, uh, Tag Heuer. So like,
Right.
what else do you have in the collection?
So I used to have a Tag Heuer Monaco.
Oh, I love that watch.
Used to have that one, and
Okay.
that was the extent of the collection. I
Okay.
do, since I've gotten into Rolex. I love Rolex, obviously,
Okay.
but there's other brands that I love. Like I would love to get a vintage Cartier tank
Ah,
because I kind of
yeah.
started wanting to get into the vintage pieces
Yeah.
as well. I would
Yeah.
love a vintage Cartier tank.
Oh, that's such a I don't know why I forgot Cartier in that moment. Cartier, literally a tank for me. It's a tank or a Santos. The tank is much more achievable because the Santos is like 2, 3 times the price in most cases. But would you go strictly vintage, or would you go for even like a brand new model? I know they have like the Solar Beat now, which is solar powered, and they have like they have the standard tank models. Would you?
I think I'd go vintage because I love, and I'd go the smaller version because to me, you know, yes, I'm a bigger guy, and yes, I can wear bigger watches, but there's
Yeah,
something I would say more classical about having that smaller tank
of course.
that's vintage and carries that story. To me, that is like the pièce de résistance.
Well, I mean, you have a lot of if I remember correctly, there's a lot of like celebrities back in like the 50s, 60s, and 70s. I think the best example, probably that most people know, is Muhammad Ali. He had a
Right.
tank
Yeah.
that was cool. You know, I guess for him, a guy of his size was small, but it looked killer on him.
Thank you. Thank you.
So, you know,
Like
and I also
you put on a suit and that tank, you can't lose.
it disappears on the wrist when it needs to, but then when it peaks out, it makes that statement. And it doesn't matter
Yes.
what size it is, whether you're a boxer, whether you're just an average person, whether you're a politician, whatever the case is, a tank looks great universally on anyone, in my opinion.
Right.
And it's very hard to go wrong with a particular model. I think the big one it might be the large model, or was it the extra large model? I guess actually is technically the largest one that has the
Correct.
I think it has a like a sub-seconds and everything like
Yes.
that and a date. I personally like the one that has no date
Noted.
and no seconds hand, obviously, which is the nice thing about the quartz model, which I know some people are probably like, oh, still, it's really expensive for a quartz watch. It's like, but it's a Cartier tank. It doesn't
Thank
matter.
you. No.
Like it's still a high quality movement inside. Again, with Cartier, when it comes to the tank, you're really paying for the quality of the watch itself, the case, the
Correct.
the dial, the strap, everything else. Obviously, you're paying a little bit for the name, but it's Cartier. Like, come on, seriously.
Let's be honest. Who's going to turn down Cartier, right?
No one's gonna turn down a Cartier. I don't care which model it is. If someone handed me any Cartier model and it's legit, I
Right.
would be like you can't go wrong. Santos obviously is I feel like the Santos is a lot more popular now,
Yes.
but it can just be too big or too bulky. I mean, I've never tried one on. I've seen many of them on people's wrists, and I also feel like it just draws a lot of attention, depending
Yeah.
on, especially if it's like the two-tone one or this was just a very
Or if
short
you
one.
go with a large one. The large one, I understand they had to create the large one for the masses because large watches became the thing,
Yes,
but that medium is perfect. It's like whether or not you choose a Datejust 41 versus 36. The 36 is the classic quintessential Datejust, like the medium Santos. Classic, generational, it'll last forever, it'll look perfect versus the larger watches may come in style, may stay in style, may go out of style, but it's classic.
I think the companies are now trending back to smaller.
Yeah, yeah,
So I mean, you're starting to see a lot more 39 and a half, 40 millimeters, some cases you're starting to see less than that. Which I'm all for. I mean, I like big watches. For me, my maximum is around 43 millimeter, and 43 millimeter, the biggest one I have is like well, actually I have a Mito GMT that's a 43 millimeter. Kind of basically kind of looks like a from a distance like a master like a GMT
okay,
master basically from a distance. It's got kind of has like that heft to it.
right,
Um, Biggest watch I have is the Citizen Orca, which is like a really big, very unusual looking watch. Because it's themed after like an orca whale and it's like a dive watch. I think it's like 44, 45 millimeter, but it actually wears a lot smaller. But now, yeah, now everyone's trending smaller, I would say, at least with like more of the luxury brands.
right,
Um, Citizen Bulova still makes some pretty big watches. Seiko still makes
yeah,
some pretty big watches, but um, my sweet spot is like between 40 and 42, but I would love to have a classic traditional like 38 or 36 millimeter watch, especially like a dress watch. So
yes, yes,
it's hard to beat with class like that.
yes. Like, but I would love to have a old school 36 Rolex 18238,
Okay.
the Tony Soprano
Yes.
date chest.
The is it a date just or a day date?
No,
It's
I'm sorry,
it's the
president. Dating, the dating.
I mean, is there anything else that screams just like besides Tony Soprano, besides Mob Boss? But is there anything else that just screams Rolex and like just yes, it's very flashy, but in the best way, in my opinion. I personally probably wouldn't wear that every day going
No,
out and
no.
about for sure. But I mean, when you see that, my father-in-law has, I think that watch. I'd have to double check, but he has an all gold day date. I don't remember if it's on the presidential bracelet. I think it is on the presidential bracelet, and it just looks insane in person.
Yes,
Um, he has that along with like a bunch of other like Datejust and AP Royal Oak and things like that. But that watch is just perfection,
yes. Hey, there's a reason why presidents wore that watch.
which is kind of crazy because it's like really flashy watch.
Yes,
Like especially nowadays that wouldn't go over very well if like you had a president or like any sort of high-ranking official just kind of flashing this
right.
because those things go what? Those things go for like 100,000, no, or less than that, 80,
Less
90.
than that. I think retail it's probably like 43
Oh,
to
I'm
50,
way off.
43 to 50. But you know, you're
I'm way
talking
off.
great. You're talking great market. If you get
Oh, okay.
an olive dial, you're talking 60, 70.
Okay, yeah, I must be thinking of like platinum because platinum I know goes up to the six-figure range. But yeah, I imagine secondhand secondary market, yeah, you're gonna be paying such a huge premium for something like that. But it's not for everyone. It
No.
really, it's so flashy.
Yeah.
Um,
Just like the AP the rose gold AP chronograph with the blue
oh
dot.
my God,
So flashy, but
such a cool
it's just
watch.
gorgeous. It's gorgeous, but it's the watch that you're like, okay, either I'm walking around with personal bodyguards.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my God, yeah. And then you look at like VCs, some Vacherons that are also rose gold with like blue dial, or just regular yellow gold and whatever. It's crazy the just how like gaudy sometimes these watches can look, but we all love them. We like, you know,
Like if I told you, would you take this rainbow Daytona? You're not gonna turn it down.
I'm not gonna turn it down.
It's gaudy, but you're not turning it down.
I would turn down the I think there's a Daytona that has almost like a leopard print dial.
Yes. No.
No, not about it.
I think it's
Not about it.
the tiger eye, I think it's called.
I think that's what it's called. Yeah, no, absolutely not. You couldn't give that to me for free. I'll take the rainbow Daytona before I take that
Yes.
because there's no way in hell one I can even pull that off. And two, that is so god awful. Like it just looks horrible. Sorry to anyone in the audience who likes that watch. you know, as there's a watch for everyone, right?
There you
Um, yeah,
go.
exactly. So speaking of these like super high-end watches, what are your grail pieces? Like what are the watches that like you know of, you see, whether it's in an ad, on TV, on your phone, whatever the case is, and you're just like, that is the watch that I need. Like that's gonna be the either the pinnacle of of my collection, or that's the one that's like I'm done after that.
For me personally, the watch that I'll give two, and they're the
Okay.
same company.
Okay, cool. So you
But
have a type.
the two that I would say if if I hit the lottery or if whatever, if I was given it, that I would say I'm done collecting at this point. It would be the Patek perpetual calendar that has the baguette diamond bezel on the black oyster strap. I'm sorry, on the black ostrich strap,
Mm-hmm.
platinum casing, and then the
God.
second one would be the Nautilus, the
Oh,
gold Nautilus that has the chronograph.
oh wow. Okay. I don't know. I don't know if I've actually I probably have seen that before. I've seen I'm somewhat familiar with Patek Philippe just because for me Patek Philippe is not necessarily my favorite, but the first one that you were describing, like it was a perpetual calendar,
Yeah,
those are the Pateks that I'm just like absolutely blown away by every single
yes,
time I see one. The Nautilus, I would go just regular. Well, actually, no, they only make it in platinum now, right? I think it's only
yeah.
made in platinum for the most part. Like the cheapest one is made in platinum, and you're already like, oh snap, okay. I mean, I have to sell my house in order to get this, right? But okay, killer. So you're a Patek guy, okay?
I love, but for me, what's attainable is Rolex. So Rolex right now is like
Okay, yeah.
my I'm in the Rolex bandwagon. But if money was no object, oh Patek.
Okay. So okay, Rolex I feel is kind of like it's kind of like a love-hate relationship, but it seems like it's working for you, which is good.
Yes.
What
Hey,
about
and it is a love-hate relationship, right? It's like if you date the girl, she sometimes doesn't return your calls, but sometimes when you do have an actual date, it's the best date you
it's
ever had
the
in your life.
right, exactly. Like yeah, that's so funny. So wait a minute. So with Patek, what did you think about the what's it called? The Cubitus? It's
Cubist,
like the square Nautilus that everyone was
not for me.
like, no,
Not for
right?
me. No, no. I understand it. You're trying to branch out, create this new brand in the line that you're
Hmm.
hoping takes off. So I understand it because after a certain amount of time, it's kind of like Apple doing micro enhancements. You can only take you so far before you need to really innovate something. So I understood it, but for
Hmm.
me, no.
Well, that's true. I mean, when you look at Rolex too, I mean, it's kind of like, again, very small incremental changes. Although they came out with the Land Dweller this year. I, yeah, you like the Land Dweller?
I hated it at first. When I
Oh,
first
okay.
saw it, I
Got it.
hated it.
Got it.
I was on a vacation in Vegas and actually got to try one on.
Oh, wow.
And I was
Okay.
like, okay, you got me. You got me.
Really? Oh man, see that was like probably what the most controversial release of the year, just because I just don't like the name. I think it's the problem.
I think that's it.
Land Dweller, it's just kind of cringy to me. Like, okay, Sea Dweller makes sense. Sky
Right,
Dweller, I don't like the Sky Dweller either, but it's a cool name.
right,
It's a very interesting watch. And then you have everything else is like, like Yacht Master and things like that. Names that sound cool, fun, or very classy. Land
right.
Dweller though, just I don't know. It's just and then the only other thing I don't like about that watch, because to be honest, the rest of the watch is actually looks pretty good. The only other thing I don't like about that watch is the honeycomb like texture on the dial. If they had
I
just done a
actually like that.
really
Yeah, I actually like that because it's outside of the norm, right? It's not what
okay.
we've done the sunburst for a long period of time.
Right, right, yeah.
So
Yeah.
I kind of like it. For me, the thing that really got me was that open case back.
Oh, okay. I mean, okay. Anyone who hates the land dweller or has opinions about the land dweller cannot cannot say anything about that open case bag. That thing is gorgeous.
Yes, yes. You can't beat that. You know, AP has their skeleton that
Yeah.
everyone rants and raves about.
Yeah.
And it felt like it was time for Rolex to kind of dabble in that realm.
Okay.
And
Okay.
that was a perfect synergy for them. It's not
Okay.
too,
Yeah.
you didn't completely jump off the boat. You just dipped your toe in the water.
Depends on who you ask. So, okay, so Rolex and Patek, any other brands that kind of stick out? What about Omega?
That's on
it's
my list too. I would love a Speedmaster. I love a
okay,
Speedy.
all right. Classic.
A
Speedmaster.
classic Speedy Black Dial would be for me.
Oh, okay, okay, awesome. And then what about and then we talked about Cartier. What about like uh anything from like JLC or Panerai or I'm like any or some maybe even more like the out of the box choices like Blancpain or Breguet.
Now, Brigade is beautiful movements, beautiful
Yeah,
watches. I think because the Cartier tank is on my list, I got to put the Reverso on there.
nice.
It's the perfect fit with that kind of motif and that kind of scheme. Also, there's a couple Elan and Cernas that I've seen
Ooh,
that
okay,
are very nice.
okay, wow. Yeah, those. I mean, they only make like what 5,000 of those a year. I think
That's
it's
it.
less than that actually. I think it's less
Yeah.
than that actually. Um, and I've only actually on my honeymoon to Portugal, I now just I for the first time saw a retailer that actually sold Lange.
Really?
I never seen them ever in person because there's nowhere by me that sells them. They actually
No.
are now they're just opening because I'm in Jersey. They're now just opening a Vacheron boutique in
Okay.
my in my local mall because that's like the mall that's like the really rich bougie mall here because like it's got like for the most part everything like there's even like a dealer there that sells like Patek and stuff like that but never had seen Lange before in person, never even seen like a store that even sells it. And now for the first time, I saw a retailer in Lisbon that had some in their window, and those things are just absolutely wild in
Gorgeous.
person. And just the price of them, when you digest that, you're like, okay, this is kind of crazy. But the weird thing is that I've heard sort of like online in some videos I've seen that Lange customer service is like really not great. So like if you have a problem with one of those, again realistically,
Right.
what's the likelihood you'll have a problem? But I've seen anyway online here and there, and people in the audience can tell me if it's like very rare. But a lot of people don't like their customer service, which is kind of crazy
Hmm.
given that you're spending money, the amount of money on like a Lamborghini or like a house in some cases
Right.
for one of their watches. Um, I don't know. I'm not rich enough to find out.
Exactly. I can't imagine that it would be that bad. Oh well, actually, no, I can't. Because let's be
Oh,
honest,
okay.
there's some high level brands that have horrible customer service that I could imagine. Not necessarily in the watch industry, but in other industries, I've seen.
Oh, yeah. Oh God, yeah. I think I forget who owns Lange. I don't or actually are they independent? They might be independent. Like independently owned. I don't know.
I think it's independently owned.
Okay.
I think.
There there are some brands I think under LVMH that a lot of people say it's like their customer service isn't great, especially for
Right.
like LVMH has some they have some of the most expensive watch brands that you can think of.
Right.
Swatch Group I hear is decent, good, nothing to write home about. Um but yeah, no, maybe I'll be rich enough one day to have rich person problems,
you know,
like dealing with
but see,
bad customer service.
I think that's why everybody loves Rolex, right? Is once you get past the AD portion,
Right.
the customer service, typically you never hear anyone complain about.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard that they'll pretty much do whatever. Like no questions asked. Like, if you
Right.
say, "Hey, this is not running within spec," or "There's a problem here," there's even like a speck of something underneath the dial or the crystal or something like that. Yeah, they'll just, okay, thank you.
We'll
We'll
take care of
swap
it.
it out. We'll take care of it, whatever the case is. So,
The only negative I've heard is people who may have had a vintage and they had to send it in for service and they may not have wanted them to
yes.
like maybe replace the hand, the arm, the hands on the watch, or maybe polishing it some. But if that's the worst that you can complain about, that they've
Right.
tried to make your watch look newer, so be it.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I think, yeah, you basically, actually, I don't even know if, I think I've heard that some people say you have to let them know ahead of time, but then I've heard some people say that even letting them know ahead of time, they like just still they feel the need to
Right.
polish something or replace something, and then it comes back and you're like, what the hell? I told you to not replace that or to not do this.
Right.
All you have to do is just service it, and that's it. But whatever. Um, Rolex, yeah, I don't know. They work in mysterious ways.
Yes. Hey, but there's a reason why they kick out what 1 million to 1.5 million watches a year, and you still
Yeah,
can't get one.
yeah, yeah. Well, so speaking of getting a Rolex, so we talked before. Actually, it was either before the episode or at the beginning of the episode. Now I don't remember because we've been having such a good conversation already. But you had mentioned that you had bought 16 tickets
Yes.
for the Rolex Sprite competition, which was a month-long draw. So when did you buy those 16 tickets? Was that towards the beginning and then you just kind of forgot about it, or did you just buy them like literally like a few days ago? Like when did you
So the
buy
funny
those tickets?
so the funny thing is, I bought 10 initially
Okay.
to start it. Then days went by, a couple weeks went by, and as we started to get down to the wire within the last few days, I was like, I really want this. Let me throw out another six.
Okay.
And once I threw out the other six, and I'm looking at the leaderboard, I'm saying, okay, we got guys up there with 200, 300 tickets. And I'm like, should I kick in another 10 or just write out the six? And I said, you know what? If it's meant to be, it's meant to be.
Right.
I'll roll with the 16 and see what happens. And sure enough, got it.
And so I unfortunately didn't get a chance to watch that live stream. Because I was relaxing by the pool in Portugal. But
Don't blame
um
you.
yeah, exactly. I'm pretty sure that's exactly what I was doing actually. Um so I didn't get to watch that stream, but tell me a little bit about the anticipation and the lead up on that day to the live stream. And then as you were watching it, to hear you, well, actually, even if you were watching the live stream, I don't know, maybe you weren't, but when you found out that you were the one that won the Sprite.
So the funny thing is, earlier in the day was when I was going back and forth. Should I pick up more tickets? I'm thinking I should, and something was saying, go, get some more tickets, because you never want to have the FOMO where you feel like you didn't give it your all because you think if I just bought maybe 5, 10 more tickets, those would have been one of the tickets.
Right.
So I was thinking, do some more, do some more. And I said, you know what? If it's meant to be, it's meant to be. So went on through the day. Um, it was football Sunday, so I was watching football most of the day. And I got a notification the jury was going live. And at the same exact time, my daughter, my 5-year-old daughter, is like, hey, can you help me with this homework? And I'm like, oh God, he asked me to help you with the homework right as I'm about to go live
On a
and watch this
Sunday?
competition. And I was like, you know what? Let me take care of my daughter.
Fair enough.
So we're doing the homework, and I look at my Apple Watch at the time, and I'm like, oh gosh. it's getting to that time because I kind of know typically around the time that Jory will start running the numbers. And I said, hey, it is what it is. If it's meant to be, it is. And I'm helping my daughter. And all of a sudden, I get the email. I see my Apple Watch gives me that email alert. And it says, Spurgeon, congratulations, Spurgeon, you won. And I'm like, no
oh my
way.
God.
No way. I told my daughter, stop what you're doing. I pop open my phone and there it is. And I was like running around the house. My daughter's like, what's going on? What's going on? And I'm
Oh my
like
God.
doing the whole Tiger Woods fist pump, like I just won the Masters.
So you found out through the Apple Watch. Basically, the email came up on your watch,
Yeah.
which is kind of poetic in a way. And
It's the symbolism of it all, right?
the Apple Watch is like, "Oh my God, no! You want to watch that? You're gonna replace me now? No! Oh my God!" And okay, so yeah, you didn't watch, you didn't watch the stream.
Didn't
You
watch the
found out
stream.
through the email, and then how long after that did Mark reach out to you by phone as well, or was it just the email? Eventually, you got to it and responded.
So I got the email the next day. Well, obviously the congratulations comes
Right.
up. So that's that initial email, which happens pretty much right after the draw. Then you get an email the next day that you're going to receive a call from someone
Mm-hmm.
that'll give you the information, and you get the email that tells you these are the logistics. This is what you need to send us just to validate that you're 18 years old, and all of that. So I sent all that in and set up the call. We had a great conversation, and he kind of gave me the rundown of where the watch was located. Um, Typically, the Sprite was with a dealer in Toronto. He said, hey, I'm going to go pick it up, do the inspection of it. I'll send you the tracking number, and you'll be good to go. And so I ended up
Wow.
getting it a couple days later via FedEx.
Nice. And then because obviously you had tracking, so I'm guessing you obviously knew which day it was coming.
Oh, yeah. So before I
What?
even got the email from Mark with the tracking information, because of my work, I have an account with FedEx. So I just happened to open my account, checking packages from work, and I
Yeah.
see it pop up. And I was like, oh, it's coming. The next 3 days, the next 2 days, I'm like, on pins and needles every day,
Yep.
looking up everything I can on the Sprite, how to set it, the whole everything you could think of. I'm watching every YouTube video about a Sprite possible.
Oh my God. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I do the same thing when I just buy just like I'll watch online. I'll do a little bit of research beforehand, but usually if I see a
Right.
watch and I know I'm gonna like it, I'll just, and I want to buy it, I'll buy it. But then I spend afterwards being like, all right, now let me do a deep dive into like all these reviews, things that people hate about it, things that
Yep.
people like about it, and I'm like, well, I mean, what am I doing? I already bought the watch. Like, if I don't like
Exactly.
it, I'll just return it. It doesn't matter anymore, you know? So the
And
day that it,
I had friends tell me like, okay, you won this watch. Are you gonna sell it? Not even a microsecond goes by. No. This baby's staying in the collection.
Yeah, no, I mean, why? I mean, even if you do decide to sell it a couple years from now, why would you sell it right? I mean, obviously there are people out there that they're gonna sell it regardless, just because for them it's at least okay, some extra cash, whatever.
Right.
But wear and enjoy it for a couple years. If then if you decide maybe you want to trade it in for like another model or something different, then
Right.
so be it. But you have that story now of it's attached to this competition through Wolf Watch Club, and it's even got the green on it too, so it kind
Yep.
of it's all these small little things that go into being like, okay, this watch is special. I'm gonna wear this watch every day. Every time I look down on it, I'm gonna smile, or I'm gonna think about, I bought 16 tickets.
Exactly.
and then 16, it was at $15 a pop. So I mean, you
Two
did you
forty.
really didn't you really didn't spend that much.
No,
Yeah, no, that's crazy. Yeah, no, never sell that. Are you kidding me?
no,
That's
no.
it's also just such a unique watch. Like it's not like it's just like uh I don't want to say a standard GMT Master 2 because even a you know
Right.
such an amazing watch, but it's a even more unique watch that who knows, like in a couple years it might become like a cult classic, like it might develop its own little following, and it might be super rare at that point. I don't know
Exactly.
how many they sold. um but I don't it doesn't seem like they're flying off the shelves, but it's such a cool watch, and it's on the
Right.
Jubilee bracelet,
On the
right?
Jubilee bracelet. Yeah.
Are you
And the
wearing it
thing,
right now, or are you wearing a
oh
different
yeah,
one right now? Oh, look at that. Yeah, that's awesome. I love that. I love that. That's awesome.
and the thing is, right? So I have three daughters, and they know I love Rolex. So my
Oh my
hope
God.
is that at some point, well, hopefully no time soon, that I can have three so that I can pass down one to each of them.
And right. So you say you have three daughters. So,
Yes,
you know, you could even potentially buy something that's like a 36, or like or like something that's basically a unisex size.
exactly.
And that honestly, that would probably work out the best in the long run, because not only would it fit probably your daughter's any of your daughter's wrists better, because it's like
Correct.
it's closer to, well, what we would consider now a women's size, which is anything
Correct.
below 36. But it would be cool to have that be like, oh yeah, like my dad wore this watch, passed it down to me, and they can enjoy that as just like a cool like heirloom type thing. Because if I wanted to pass down any watches I have, and I have a daughter, she's gonna be SOL on the sizing of the watches. They're all so big.
Especially since you love 42s.
Yeah, like who am I, like, unless I have a son, and if he has a 7.25-inch wrist like I do, who am I going to pass the watches
Right.
on to someone that can actually enjoy them, right?
Exactly.
Um, so yeah, no, that's so funny too that your daughters, it's because, so you have one that's 5, and how old are the other two?
15 and 22.
Oh, okay, 15 and 22. Gotcha. So even the 5-year-old knows that you like Rolex.
Yes.
That's awesome.
And the
Starting
funny
them
thing
young.
is, the date just is her birth year.
Ah, we'll see. But wait, but how big is the date just again? It's a 30.
It's a 41.
Oh, okay, 41. I mean, 41.
It's you
You
can
know
get
what? It
by.
doesn't matter. It doesn't matter,
Exactly.
because it's gonna, whatever, rock it. Who cares, right?
Exactly.
So that's gonna be that's actually gonna be a really cool. I'm still looking for actually like a birthier watch for myself. It's just a matter of finding one that's not, obviously beat to crap.
Exactly.
But in 97, there wasn't a whole lot of crazy anything that stood out that year, at least based on what I was looking. There's like a few like interesting like Seiko like kinetic models that came out that year and stuff like that, but I'm like,
Right.
I would love, like, if I could find a Cartier tank from that year
Oh,
or something like that, or a Panerai from that year or something.
yes.
Like, I still need that. I need a birthier watch. I have, like 20 something watches, and I still need another watch. I don't understand what's going on with me. I need help. Um, but yeah, I need a. It's also tough too to find watches like based on the year. I know Chrono 24
Yeah,
you can filter by year. eBay's kind of hit or miss.
exactly.
Do you have you don't have a birthier watch, do
I
you?
do
Or do
not
you?
either. I,
Okay.
I need to add one to the collection. And
Yeah,
that was
because
my thought is maybe get a birthier sub,
oh, okay. Okay.
maybe
That
maybe
would
go
be a
that route.
that would be a killer watch.
Yeah,
Because then it's gonna have it's right, ideally it's gonna have like really cool patina as well.
exactly.
Yeah. Oh man. But then the question is, how much is it going to cost you? Because those, I don't know what the prices of like those old subs are like from like 10, 20, 30 years ago, whatever the case is.
Right. And it's tough because you also don't want one that's been polished to almighty.
Yeah, that's the biggest issue with those like used watches that they get over polished. Every time you polish a watch, you're just taking metal right off of the watch.
Yep.
And uh yeah, so you would try and find one that's like probably unpolished, even if it's scratched to hell.
Even if it's scratched to hell, I or even like, well, hopefully not scratched to hell, but having some scratches adds a little character to it. I could do
Okay. Okay. Yeah, yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah. Fair enough. Fair enough. No, fair enough. Yeah. Yeah. Birth year watches, I think is such a cool concept. Ideally what I would like to do is when I have my first kid, I want to buy something special um from that year with the intention of passing it down. Um, giving it to them when they're like, whatever, 18 or earlier if they're really into watches.
Right.
Are your daughter well, maybe not your youngest, but are the older daughters into watches at all too, or no?
Not at all.
No, not even
Not
like
at all.
not even Apple Watch or anything like that.
So my eldest daughter, we bought her an
Okay.
Apple Watch. I think
Okay.
the thing stays dead. She never wears it.
Ah,
She's more
okay.
of like a bracelet jewelry type of person. And
I
then,
mean,
you know, and then the middle daughter, no
just
chance.
completely zero interest. Okay. Yeah,
Zero interest.
fair enough.
I think it'll mean something, obviously, hopefully, once it's handed down.
Right.
But right now, they could care less.
Fair enough. Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, younger generations aren't really. I mean, watches are so expensive these days anyway
Yeah.
that they have their phones. If they want something additional that's a watch, they're gonna buy like an Apple Watch or like a Fitbit, or there's a million
Right.
different smartwatches now. Um, and it's funny because all these brands now are trying to cater to younger buyers, younger audiences, but they keep jacking up the price. Like, seriously,
Thank
guys, what are you doing? Like, this is why you're losing out to Apple Watch and this and this in that demographic,
you.
right? But
Exactly.
like when I had an Apple Watch, I probably would wear it for like a couple months, and then I was like, all right, I'm kind of, it would sit in the box dead, yada yada yada, and I would sell it, and that's when I really started getting into actual watches. But yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Again, Apple Watches have their place, but
And that's the thing. Like for me, as a gym rat, I still put one on because that's my fitness tracker.
that see that makes the most sense to me. Like Apple Watches are probably the best wearable in terms of health tracking.
Exactly.
I know there's a bunch of other ones like Garmin's really good for like navigation types, like hiking type stuff. There's actually a really cool hybrid watch by a company called Withings. I don't know if you may be familiar with them. They actually do some like health products like
Okay.
scales and some I don't know if they do like
I'm more
is
familiar
it
with the scales,
okay,
the
so
Withing
yeah,
scales.
okay, so that same company makes hybrid watches that are actually like analog watches like this,
Oh, really?
but so they actually use like actual hands and stuff, but they
Okay.
have incorporated very seamlessly into the dial uh some health tracking like screens and stuff like that.
Right.
So they track your heart rate. They actually, one of the interesting things that they do, I think, that no one else does, is they track your temperature while you sleep and like temperature changes throughout the day.
Right. Yeah.
So it can actually, so it tells you like, hey, you've been at this temperature for a really long time, or we've noticed like very large changes in temperature. You may probably need to check in with your doctor, like that kind of thing.
Right.
And I think they also track steps and do just like your standard fitness tracking. But those pique my interest because they're basically like actual like traditional watches that
Right.
have that tech incorporated into them. I feel like someone like you would actually be really intrigued
Yes.
by those, especially
That's
being
like
in
the
the
perfect synergy.
yeah, especially being like in the healthcare consulting world. I mean, other companies have tried to do the hybrid stuff. Citizens sort of did it with their CZ smartwatches.
Yep.
Didn't
Didn't really
really
work.
didn't really work. A lot of people say there's a lot of problems with it. I think Fossil even has tried to do the hybrid watches. Then you have like Tag, who's just doing just like full on luxury smartwatches, and I'm like,
Yeah.
okay. But Withings, yeah, whenever you have like free time, look up the actual Withings smartwatches, and they're very very cool. And they're usually
Okay.
around like I think their cheapest models start around like $300, and
Oh,
the
that's
more
not bad at
expensive
all.
ones go up to like 8 or 7 for like the fully loaded like every function under the sun type thing.
Oh, heck,
So
Apple Watches are like $1,000 now. So
oh my God, yeah, no, it's crazy. And then, every update you do, it's just like I mean, I'm sure the Withings also requires some software updates, but I feel like it won't go as obsolete
correct.
as quickly as Apple Watches and like the Samsung watches and things like that. Um but the Apple Watches have gotten pretty cool though. Like the Ultra ones are really beefy. They do pretty much
Yeah,
everything. Um and they have
that's the
like
one I
the
have.
Ultra.
I have the Ultra.
Yeah, that one's actually, I will admit, that one's actually the coolest one by a long shot. I just love the look of it, and
Yes.
it looks like you could pretty much run it over, and it'll be fine, just like a G-Shock. So,
Yeah.
um, but yeah, so all right,
What's your
cool.
opinion on watch finders? I'd love to get your take.
Watch winders.
Yeah,
So
because you
okay,
have both worlds, right? That say, hey, no, because you're basically burning
oh
your watch
jeez.
when you don't need to. But then you have the other playground that says, well, if you're kind of person that doesn't wear it as often, why not? As long as you're having it go the right amount of revolutions and it's not overwinding, what's the harm?
So I have one watch winder. It is a Barrington watch winder. So if you're familiar with Barrington, they that's kind of what they specialize in is watch winders. I don't remember if they make anything else. And then you also have a Wolf, like
Wolf.
the actual Wolf company that does like the very high end, like very expensive, like really nice watch winders. Maybe one day we'll see. Um, so I have the one that my dad got for me as a gift, and uh the first watch that I used with that was a Rado Captain Cook that I had. That was like my first like luxury watch that I got. So I was like, you know what? I'm probably when I'm not using it, I'm gonna throw it on the winder. Um because I thought like, ooh, it's such a nice watch. I don't want to like be constantly having to wind it and like do this and this and messing with the crown and the hands and stuff like that. So I was like, it's totally nonsensical.
Right.
So used that for a little bit because at the time I had mostly like quartz and solar watches. So, I had like the one really nice automatic watch, so I would keep it on there for a little bit. And then eventually my collection started to explode into a bunch of automatics.
Right.
And so then I'm like, okay, well, I can only wear one watch during the day, and then I can only have one on the winder during the day. And then the rest of them I'm just kind of whatever. Like, it is what it is, right?
Right.
So then eventually I kind of like stopped using it because it's just like it doesn't, it's nice to have. Um it's especially nice to have for like vintage watches or watches where it's kind of difficult to like or it's kind of a pain in the ass to actually set the time and wind.
Right.
So I've had a few watches where like the crown was just either so freaking small.
Right.
Best example is the Citizen Suyosa, which is it's a great watch. People know what I'm talking about, but the crown is like so flat against the case
Right.
that you really have to have your like a fingernail to actually really get the crown out, and it's
Yep.
so difficult to change. So then when I got that watch, I would throw it on the winder because it was just such a pain in the ass to wind it every few days because the crown was so small. So I mainly reserve it now. All this to say, I mainly reserve it now for watches that are difficult to either adjust or vintage watches. I don't really believe in the whole thing of like, oh, well, it's like leaving your car running. Like if the watch is constantly running, this, and this, then you're gonna wear out the parts quicker and you're gonna wear out the lubricants quicker and all that stuff. And I'm like, well, a car is different because a car, like, I'm just burning gas at that point.
Exactly.
And the car can sit there all day and it's whatever. I'm not actually putting miles on it. I know that the engine's running, but I'm not actually putting miles on it. I'm just wasting gas. The watch, in theory, if it's the only watch I have, which most people in general probably have only one watch for the most part,
Right.
excluding us crazy people who collect watches. Um, they're going to be wearing it presumably every day, if not most of the time. So it's always going to be running. So I don't really believe in that, but then I also don't believe in like, oh, well, if the watch is just sitting there in a box for months, it's also going to not work. So I'm
Right.
like, okay, so if I leave it running all the time, it's supposedly going to wear out quicker. But then if I leave it dead without power, then it's not gonna
Work.
start up. So now the one watch that I have consistently on the winder currently is an Omega that I bought recently. Um, an Omega DeVille Prestige.
Ooh.
It's a newer model.
Right.
Um, bought it for my wedding. Got a great deal on it. But the one problem with that watch is that one, the crown is very small, but also it's very difficult to like
Oh,
actually pull the crown out right exactly when I need to.
okay.
So like, you pop it out once for the date, it's all good. But if I want to take the crown out to actually hack and stop the time, it's like like sometimes it almost feels like I'm gonna pull too hard and the freaking crown is just gonna come out. So I don't know if the watch is supposed to be like that. I assume it's supposed to be like that because otherwise it runs perfectly. That one I will leave on the winder because it's a very dressy piece, but I do like to wear it a lot, and it's just easier to just leave it on the winder so I don't have to worry about it
Yeah.
because again, sometimes I feel like if I put too much pressure one day on pulling the crown out, that it's gonna like basically break in my hand, and I don't want to have to service an Omega that's pretty much brand new, like
Thank you.
less than a year after I bought it, you know? So yeah, so all that was a very long-winded thing about winders, but I like them. I think they are useful. The people that have like the big boxes that have like 6, 8 winders that are like,
Right.
each of those things are like 1,000, 2,000, $3,000 each. Yeah, if I won the lottery, I guess why not, right? I'll
Right.
put I'll put a freaking there's even a company that does like watch safes with like winders in them, right?
I've
Where
seen them.
you install them in your house. I'd be like, yeah, why not? If I have Rolexes and APs and this, and this, yeah, I'll throw them in the winder.
Right.
I'll run it all the time, and it's not going to matter because if a watch has a problem with it because of me winding it all, leaving it on the winder all the time, then I'll friggin' just get it fixed, whatever,
Yeah.
you know?
At that point, if you have that many watches and they're all in winders, you're probably not worried about having to service it.
Yeah, no, exactly. I mean, I know some people who have told me uh like they will get particular watches, like Rolexes, for example, serviced religiously once a year. And I'm like, And they're not doing it with Rolex like directly. They're going
Right.
to like a Rolex specialist. Um and I'm like, they pay like whatever, $500 or something just for like a relubrication,
Right.
quick cleaning of the movement, stuff like that. And I'm like, why? Why aren't Rolexes supposed to be able to run for like, whatever, 5, 7, 10 years in some cases without a
Yeah.
service? Like, I mean, if you're only losing a few seconds a day, it doesn't really matter.
Right.
'Cause it's automatic, so who cares? And then uh it's just so much money that you're spending on a service. I wear watches until they stop.
There you go.
Then I know there's an issue.
Yes.
See?
And how everybody's carrying a cell phone now, right? So you can tell if your watch is losing time. If it's
Oh
not lo-
yeah.
if it's not losing a ton of time, what's the point?
Yeah, but also even every watch movement is different. So, so what I was telling you, like when every few days, sometimes I'll go and I'll like wind my automatics and then set the time and date. You know, they'll all start, right? They're all in sync, right? And then
Yeah.
after a day or two, this one's behind like 10 seconds, that one's ahead 10 seconds, that one
Yeah.
is still, about what it's supposed, about with actual real time. It doesn't matter. Um, but I do like watch winders. I have the one that's really all I need. I know sometimes people get crazy with this. Some people say that, you're gonna damage it by putting the watch on all the time and stuff like that. And it's like, I mean, most watches too, they have built-in overwind protections.
Right. Right.
The only watches you have to worry about overwinding are the manual hand wind watches, which I have a few of, and you can very clearly feel when you're supposed to stop.
Yes. When you start getting to that tightness, that's probably a sign you've hit the mark.
Yeah, I mean, I basically go until once I reach that point where it's like, okay, it just straight up doesn't go anymore. I don't know if that's technically bad, but the watches are still running even years later. I know some people will stop once it starts getting tight, but it doesn't fully stop turning.
Right.
I just do it until basically there's a point where you will literally feel that it just won't go,
Right.
and you will know without having to actually turn it all the way. It's like you'll start to turn it once it starts tightening up. I slow down, but then there will be a point where it just won't turn anymore, and I just let it run and it dies and that's it. Then people even say, "Oh, with hand wind watches, you should to maintain the accuracy, you should wind it every at the exact same time that you wound it initially." So like if you wind it in the morning fully,
Right.
after a day, you want to wind it again fully at the same time to then keep the accuracy going. Like I don't
Who has time for that?
I don't have time for that.
No, me, I'm usually the person who's trying to run out of the house and I'm grabbing my watch and I see that, oh, the time's off. Let me quickly, I'll give it the 20-40 winds that
Yeah.
everybody says a Rolex should do. Give it a quick 20-40, close it, up, out the door.
Yeah. And then some people even say, "Oh, winding it too much um will also cause damage." You can damage your watch in so many ways.
Thank you.
The worst way is to drop it or try and change the date during the time that you're not supposed to be trying to change the date,
Correct.
right? Which we know is between like 9 p.m. and like 3 in the morning when the date
Exactly.
change is happening. Like you don't do that and you don't drop it. Otherwise, you should be fine.
Yeah. There's a reason we pay these prices for these watches.
Very true. But also, I could pay $100,000 for a car and the car breaks
Oh,
down on the way out of the dealership. So,
good point.
but But with a watch, I mean, there's cars are just too complex these days. There's so much electronics and so much wiring and so much this and this and that.
That's why I went
Something's bound to
electric.
break.
That's why I went electric. So I don't have to
Some
worry about the maintenance.
Something's bound to break. With a watch, they've been basically doing the same thing for the last 300 years. I'm not worried about
Yeah.
it. So, so listen, Spurgeon, I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for sitting down with me. Um, Again, congratulations on your Rolex Sprite win. I mean, like, just what an absolute killer watch to win. As I've been
Yes.
telling everyone I've been talking to, because every single watch that Wolf Watch Club has been given out has just been just, I mean, insane.
Right.
There's really no other word for it. Um, and again, getting to know your journey, what you do for a living. Again, thank you for what you do. You're doing your thing. You're in the background, making sure, keeping everyone safe, keeping everyone on the front line safe. So again, thank you for what you do. You just seem like such a cool, amazing guy. Like, seriously, thank you for sitting down with me. Um, is there anything else that you want to say to the audience? Anything else that you want to share before we start wrapping up? Anything you want to let Mark at Wolf Watch Club know too?
I just want to say thank you to Mark and the team. This is an amazing community that we're building. You know, I always tell people if you want the community to grow, you have to bring in as many people as possible with the same arching foundation, appreciating watches. And that's what we're doing. We're building a community of actual true watch lovers. And you see it. And, everybody has seemed to be just the average person day to day that you would run into at a grocery store. There's no billionaires that are trying to take over this whole community. It's just the average person that you can have a great conversation about this thing that we love, which is horology. So definitely thank you to Mark, for this opportunity to actually meet you, Gabriel. Thank you, Gabriel. It's a great conversation about the thing that we love. And I would tell anyone who's interested, you don't want to miss out. You don't want to have FOMO on this. This is a great opportunity to potentially get something that has been on the list of your grail. If it's not a grail, something that you've eyed, it's a great opportunity to try to get that and acquire that without necessarily having to open the full pocketbook, open the full wallet. The more we bring people into the fold, the more it creates opportunities for those even bigger pieces, like the APs or the Pateks down the road. Once we build this community up to where it's valuable and it's something that we can actually achieve.
That's yeah. That's yeah, you basically encapsulated the whole point of Wolf Watch Club, why, again, why we're doing this. I've said it already in past episodes. We're talking to everyday people, you know, some are in healthcare, some are car collectors, some are financial consultants, and some, just all walks of life. That's the whole point of this series, the channel, Wolf Watch Club, right? Again, we're not just here to give away a really cool watch every week.
Right.
We're here to get to know those people behind the wins, the people in the community. I'm going to be doing more interviews with community members as well, not just winners, but actual members. Um, we're going to be doing some other content on the ground, some events in the future as well. So, yeah, I mean, again, this is a whole community that we're building and getting off the ground. So continue to please support us on wolfwatchclub.com, following us on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, all of our socials, subscribing to the channel.
Yeah.
sharing the channel with your loved ones, your friends, and yeah, anyone that likes watches, wants to learn more about watches, this is the best place to learn from uh, just average people, right? Like,
Exactly.
we're not, average people who, a lot of us are doing amazing things, but we're not like celebrities. We're not billionaires, as you were saying. We're not these like super ultra high profile people, trying to influence you, right? Like we're just here to have those real conversations. So Spurgeon, stay on with me after the episode. But for everyone else, thank you again for tuning in with Wolf Watch Club. My name is Gabriel, again, your community host. This was Spurgeon Monroe, our Rolex Sprite winner, and we will see you all soon again. Thank you. Take care.